Page 2. Solve by substitution. Now, unless you're graphing, I don't really care which system you use, but I'm going to go ahead and do substitution since that's what I'm being asked to do. So I'll solve this bottom equation for y. Start by moving the x's over, and I would get an equation like this. But that's negative y. I want just for y, so I'm going to change all the signs. Multiply by -1, divide by -1, or just change all the signs. Okay, now I know what y is, and I'm going to substitute into this one. It's very important that you substitute into the other equation. Do not substitute into the equation you solve for. Result will not be good. So 3x plus 2 times y, which is 2x minus 4, equals -1. And now we just got to simplify that, right? It's going to be 3x plus 4x minus 8 equals a -1. That means I'm going to end up with 6x equals 7. Sorry, 7x equals 7. And that means x is going to be 1. Alright. And then I just take the 1, I plug it up into this one here. 2 times 1 minus 4 is going to give me a -2. So x is 1, y is -2. Please write your answers as ordered pairs when you're doing these systems of equations. Like, you need to have both. I've seen the last quiz we did, I had a student that was just putting one number in there, and that's not good. Okay. Solve by elimination, my preferred method. I'm going to add these two equations together. And so I'll get 2x here, and then that equals the y's cancel out. Then I think I get 72 when I do 24 plus 48. So it looks like x is going to be 36. And now when you have a solution, you can substitute it into either equation. When you have an equation like this one up here, I solved for y, you have to substitute into the other one. But once you get a solution, you can plug it into either one. So let's just say I have 36 plus y equals 24. Plug it into that first one there. So y is going to be -12. Subtract 36 from 24, you get a -12. So that's 36 and -12. Okay. Solve each system using the method of your choice. Well, if I have a choice, I am going to use elimination. So I'm going to multiply that bottom one by 2. I'm going to rewrite this equation over here. Multiply everything in the bottom one by 2, so I get 2x minus 2y equals 4. And now I'm going to subtract these equations. Be careful, because 3 minus a -2 is a 5, right? Not a 1. And then 9 minus 4, well, that's also 5. And so look at that. Y is going to be 1. And now that I know y, I can plug it in over here. X minus 1 equals 2. So that means x has got to be 3. And the answer is going to be 3, 1. Again, we're going to write that as an ordered pair. Perfect. Okay. Ooh, this one looks pretty nasty. I'm going to multiply top equation by 3. And so what I'll get is 12x minus 15y equals 4. And now I've got this equation here, minus 16x plus 15y equals a minus 9. Okay, we're going to add these equations together. And when I do that, because if the signs are different, you need to add to eliminate. I'll get a 6x here equals a 4 plus a minus 9 is a minus 5. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 6, and I will get x equals negative 5 over 6. Oh, you know what? I just looked at something. That's not good. I didn't multiply 4. Some of you are probably watching this thinking, hey, 4 times 3 is not 4, it's 12. It's an easy fix, though. I caught it early on, so it's not going to be that bad to fix. So forget that, and forget that. This means 6x is going to equal 3. Sorry about that. So 6x equals 3. That means x is going to be 3 over 6, which reduces to 1/2. Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't multiply the 4 times the 3. You have to multiply everything. Okay, now, unfortunately, we still have to solve for y. So I'm going to go back. Remember, when you have a solution, you can plug it into either equation. I'm going to come up to this first one before I multiplied by 3. So it would just be 4 times 1/2, because that's what x is, right? Minus 5y equals 4. And now we're going to solve that one for y. So 4 times 1/2, that's going to be 2, minus 5y equals 4. And so what I end up with is a minus 5y equals 2. And so y is going to be a negative 2 over 5. Okay, so there are my two coordinates right there. It's going to be 1/2 and negative 2 over 5. Alright, next side for page 2. Okay. Solve for the system, then classify it as inconsistent, consistent dependent, or consistent dependent. Consistent independent or consistent dependent. Okay. We can use substitution for this one since they tell us what y is. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I know that I'll get 4x minus 2 times y, but y is 2x minus 6. So I'll go ahead and plug that in. And it's going to equal 12, right? So I just took this first equation here and I substituted it in for y. So now we get to the simplifying part. So I'll have 4x minus 4x. That's interesting. Plus 12 equals 12. Okay. So let's go ahead and start simplifying this equation now. 4x minus 4x, well, that's going to give me a 0x. They just cancel each other out. And then what I'm left with is 12 equals 12. So let's start with the type. If I get 12 equals 12, that means it's not consistent independent. But it's not inconsistent because 12 does equal 12, so this has to be one of these consistent dependent types. So I'll just put C, D for consistent dependent. And the solution, because remember, when it's consistent dependent, it's basically just saying that these two things are the same line. It's the same line in different forms. So the solution is just the equation y equals 2x minus 6. Alright, word problem. The difference of 3 times the first number and 4 times the second number is 34, so that's going to be 3x minus 4y equals 34. Well, the difference of 4 times the first number and 3 times the second number is 43. And now we're being asked to, okay, find out what these two numbers are. I'm going to use elimination, so I have to figure out, okay, what do I want to eliminate, x or y? I think I'll go ahead and pick x, which means I'm going to need to multiply this one by 4 to get a 12x, and multiply this one by 3, so I'll get a 12x, right? Okay, so this will now be 12x minus 16y equals, 4 times 34. I got a calculator here. And so that's going to be 136. Then over here I got 12x minus 9y equals 3 times 43. So what's that going to give me? 3 times 43. 129. Okay. So now I can subtract these guys. I'm running out of room. I have to be careful here. 12x minus 16y equals 136. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and subtract them now. 12x minus 12x is 0x. Cancels out, but be careful here. What's a minus 9 minus a negative 16? That's going to be like plus 16, right? So that's actually going to give me 7y. And then over here, I'm going to get a 129 minus 36, which is a negative 7. So good news, y equals 1. Or sorry, negative 1. Alright, and now I can take that and just plug it into one of the original equations before I multiply it. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll have 3x minus 4 times a negative 1 equals 34. Well, negative 4 times negative 1, that's actually going to be plus 4. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides, and I'll get 3x equals 10. In which case, x is going to be, 30. 3x equals 30. 34 minus 4 is 30. And then 3x equals 30. 30 divided by 3 is 10. I was getting ahead of myself there. And so the solution is going to be 10, negative 1 for that guy. Okay, number 16. We get to complete a table. Joe flew 300 miles with the wind in 2 hours. After flying against the wind for 2 hours, however, he had only made only 270 miles of the return trip. Okay, so returning with the wind, that means he's got his rate. We don't know what the rate is. It's, we'll say x. But if he's with the wind, that's plus the wind. Okay, the time is 2 hours, and the distance is 300. Okay, I think they messed this up. I think this was going with the wind and returning against the wind, but whatever, we can fix it with the table here. So if he's going against the wind, that means we're subtracting. We have the same time. The time is still 2 hours, but the distance now is going to be 270. Okay, so there's our table. And now they're asking us to write an equation. Solve. Well, remember, distance equals rate times time. So that means I'll have 300 equals, in this case, I'll do time times rate. 2 times x plus w. And then I'll have 270, and that's going to equal 2 times x minus w. Okay, go ahead and distribute. So I'll get 300 equals 2x plus 2w. Notice I can divide everything in that by 2, so let me go ahead and do that. 150 equals x plus w. Over here we'll have 270 equals 2x minus 2w. Again, notice I can divide everything in that by 2. So all I get is 135 equals x minus w. And now I can do elimination, right? I'll put this one under here. X minus w. Add the two equations together, so over here I get 285 equals 2x. And if you divide, let's see, 285 by 2, what do you get? I'm going to plug it into my calculator here. Looks like I get 142.5. So that's his rate. That's his, what is it, miles per hour? Yeah, miles per hour. And then you can, once I know the rate, I can plug it into one of these equations. It doesn't matter which one. 135 equals 142.5 minus w. Okay. So I subtract those two, 135 minus 142.5. And it looks like I get minus 7.5 equals minus w, so we need to switch the signs there, and w is going to be 7.5 miles per hour. There is page 2.